on building the Anno Mac. So I wasn't able to complete it in the 7 days planned, but I wanted to just shed more light on how this was supposed to be completed. But because even though we didn't get it done as we planned to, going to let me just open one of these. I have a lot of stuff that doesn't relate to this yet. It's just personal work. So let's say we go back to the Plasma docs that we've been using as our tests, right? Our test URL. So if I click on the capture, this is what I currently have. I have all of this, and clicking on the capture and marking it as this works fine. The interesting thing is that this works as opposed to. So if I save this, it gets saved to, but it doesn't really give 100. The reason for that, let me see, understandable. No, log out. This is not the account I want to log in with. All right, so let's say, given this, right, this is the, so going back to this, I'm just going to go to the media library. So currently we have all the, you can see the Anno Mac folder here, it got created, and these are the annotations we've created. But so far so good, they keep breaking. So it simply means our app is, to an extent, working. It might not be perfect, but it works as expected, and even beyond the expectation at this point. So this is what we have currently, and this is the solution. This is the stage we are. So what I'm going to do next is try to resolve the image issue, because the only thing left here is not just the creation of the images. So because now we have a sync between what we have here, so just to show you guys what I mean. So if I go to my annotations, right, and compare what we have, you can see these are the annotations I have that I've tested. This was the one we tested just now. This, you can see January 12, 2026, 6:18 p.m., which literally is 6:19 now. So it means it works, because this is the page we just tested. If I click on it, you see the yellow mark here. So everything works perfectly well, right? And this one has, let me see if there's a name that I can use to identify this. But you can see this is 618 4072 by 5677 dimension. So if I go back to this, I should see the exact thing. I think it should be this. Let me get the details of this. Where can I get the details? Okay, I don't want to get it, download it. I think this should be it, because let me compare it again. This is 567770. Okay, yeah, this is it. 5677, right? The name and everything. Of course, it doesn't work the way we expect it to, like I said, but you can see, yeah, January 25th, 2026, just 8:18, especially the same time on a Sunday. So that means everything worked as expected, but the image does not get added to it, which is where the problem is. So how do we get the result? Because I don't want to create like a force. If you follow this series from part 1 to part 7, I don't want it to be like, oh, this is a force series, we didn't get to complete it, we just give you half stuff. Because like I said, I want to deploy this to the Chrome store, and so if you sit on the Chrome store, I want to give you actual confidence, much more than oh, this guy built it, he didn't finish it. So what I'm going to do is we are going to finish it, ensure that whatever we sent beyond what we've done here so far gets to this particular platform where we are using to save all what we are implementing currently. So that's what I'm trying to do. So now it's just about fixing the image. So let's go into that and resolve it. So once again, welcome. If you've not been a part of this series, this is a bonus series that I'm adding because we are building an extension, a Chrome extension called Anomac. What Anomac does is it allows you to be able to just um, mark any content existing on your web page without you needing to click an extension or something. This is also an extension, but it is a floating type extension that gives you free access to all the mark tools like the rectangle, the ellipse. You can just be browsing, see something that interests you. You can just click on the button, mark it, write on it, and save it, and get automatically synced to the mobile app, which we are about to create also. But first, we need to fix the sync engine so that we can see whatever image you create here on the mobile app as well. So once we fix this, we create the mobile app, we are done. The sync is not really an issue at this point, right? So that's what we are trying to do. So in this case, let's go back. Knowing fully well that we are done with this, The next thing to do is to go create or fix the image, right? So the first thing here is we see where we created all of this. We created this in the folder called Anomac. As you guys can see, the name of the folder is called Anomac, basically. So that means all of this particular information here is valid. The signature, the file name, everything is fine. The file name also gives the actual file name here. You can see the file name, which we also created. This is not just attached. It's based on the particular calculation that was done here to generate the file name, which was passed to the perform upload file. But one thing is that the file itself is the problem. The file does not actually get uploaded to image. It feels like the file is not taking the proper format. I don't know what it is yet. I've not been able to debug it. So that's what I wanted to do now. So I decided to stream this so you guys could see the fix live. So what I'm doing here is we have the file and the blob which was passed from perform upload. So that means it was passed to us from a particular place. And from perform upload to it was passed from to upload image, which means it's just passing it from a particular place. So image kits, it was passed from here to the no, it was passed to where am I just now? Image kit service. So it was passed to this image service, and if you go to upload image, you can see it's the same file, right? Just different places. So going to image upload image here, which passes it to upload image is used. Let's check which of the two. Let's check the first one. So that means when you so this is the save annotation, right? Save annotation here is one of the files we created in the background messages. This simply means we are able to like interact or call generate this using a trigger from the extension. So messages are the way the extension communicates. The extensions don't work as like web pages, whereby you can just use a lot of free stuffs and there are literally no restrictions on the web these days. But extensions have a lot of restrictions. You can't really communicate with them just generally. There's a particular way you have to communicate with them, which is using the messages. And you can see here we have start capture, save annotation, get annotation, delete annotation. So all of this works. The delete, the get, the start. The save also works, but it doesn't give us exactly what we want. So that's what we are trying to fix now. So the first thing we have here is the data URL to blob that was created for us by AI, which didn't really work for me. So the first thing I want to do is, why is it not giving the image? We already know it's getting saved with the size. In fact, the size is there, which is 1.87 megabytes. So that means the data is coming, but the image does not get displayed. So that's a problem. So that means we need to fix it. So now we've done all of this part, we can see up to this point, we can see that everything works. There are no errors literally, just that the image that is being passed is invalid. So let's see, let's go through the code. We have the initializer, which initializes Dex. Dex is where we are storing it locally. Dex is just an IndexedDB wrapper that makes it easy for you to interact with IndexedDB using like actual DB ORM functions like order by collections and all of those things. You see in databases like MongoDB or even in ORMs like Drizzle and Prisma. So it makes it easy for you to work with. So we have that here. So we initialize Dexy so that we can access it, make changes, updates. But in this case, we are writing, right? We are saving. So that means we use it to like create an instance and the IndexedDB for local and offline use, and also create the same instance, but now the actual version, not the thumbnail, because the one saved on IndexedDB is like the um, compressed version. But that aside, you will see it here. So what we are going to do now is we generate the thumbnail image. Generate the thumbnail image is what we get stored to the IndexedDB, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, as you can see, it generates the email, and you can see that is what you save to Dexy. Dexy, like we said, is the IndexedDB wrapper, so that works perfectly well. And as you can see from here, you can see that it displays. This is it. So that means the one to Dexy works perfectly well. There are no issues with the implementation of Dexy, including the fact that we are saving the thumbnail URL, we are saving the data URL here. And how do we do that? The save annotation here takes in the stored annotation. The stored annotation it contains a lot of things. You can see it contains all of this, the file size and all this, including the data URL. So in this case now, we use that to calculate what we passed to the Dexy storage. As you can see, this is Dexy, and this is how it calls db.transaction. You can see we can create a transaction using Dexy. It just gives you all the full-fledged database ORM things that you can use for atomic transactions and many other things. So, but this is not about Dexy, right? But that is an option that is available. So let's looking at how Dexy works here. This Dexy takes in the parameters we need, right, from by stripping what we don't need out, which is the ID created out, updated out, and uses that data for annotation to store, to create the annotation, or to save the annotation rather. So that means for you to store, save the annotation, it needs to calculate the base64 data, right, before getting the size. So what you did first was it got the base 4 data by splitting the base64, the data URL that we passed into it, and then it used that as well to this. So there's a db annotation or add function we do. Now we already know the full annotation, which is this. Full annotation is just a way of updating certain things by giving it its own customer ID, which we are saying we are not getting from here. So because we are saving, right? It doesn't have an ID when we save. So we are incrementing and giving an ID to it. And the ID we gave to it is what you see here. And that is why if you go back here, you see the ID. Here, you see the ID is annotation this, then underscore some. If you check here, you see that it's annotation underscore so and so also. That's because the name passed to the indexdb is just annotation underscore. The one passed to the one sent to the our image kit, which is our cloud storage now, is a different annotation ID. If you check that, let's look for the annotation ID. You see that is the one returned from the save annotation by Dexy. So let's just check that out to be sure. So what we see now is when we get this, we need to check this, the add function here, the method rather. So if you go to this method here, oh no. So not that. I have auto auto go to file, so it's just going to go there. So this is what we have. I'm just going to close that. So when I save this to Dexy, I have this right. I'm literally taking this transaction mode. Transaction mode is just a way, like I said, like same way it works in DB, actual DBs. So what we are doing here is that we are adding the full annotation. Now we know the full annotation contains the all the data, right? Literally the data URL and all of those things. But data URL here has been basis for data here has been stripped because you can see that we added basis for data. Where did we add that actually? So this is for the size, right? We get that for the size, and that's usually where it is used. So then we get the annotation of file size by passing it back to the full annotation. So in this case, whatever is passed here as the data URL is what we are literally using. And that's the same thing that we are also passing to upload image, but it's different, right? We're not passing the same thing literally. So what I'm trying to explain is that even though we are passing just this, which is the data URL to Dexy, it is making use of it properly, as you can see from what is being generated. The image here is showing, so that means it works perfectly well. So what we need to do now is, let's see if you pass that same data URL, it's going to work. In this case, what we did first was to create a blob. A blob in this case is you pass in a data URL and it converts it to a blob. A blob is more like a temporary file that you can use. It's not really a temporary file, but like a binary image that you can use. And maybe because we are creating a blob is why it is failing. We don't know. But another thing I can say is that if you go here, the way we see the PNG here, you can see that annotation dash this underscore this. I'm just trying to show us where we have that ID created, the file name. You can see something like this here. This is a file name. And the file name we passed here, remember we passed it somewhere here. I'm using it to create where's the annotation ID again? Yeah, this. So we are sending this down, we are sending the image kit result down. But basically what I'm trying to say is that we have that also used somewhere, which is, but let's just go to this and understand why. So if you go to the image, upload image here, we are creating a blob from this. I'm creating a file from that blob. So we're passing the blob here, then we're passing the file name, then convert this. And the next thing we see is just we're seeing the image created. It will call this to console log, which we've confirmed works, just to give you like give you guys what we're talking about. So if you go here, you will see the file names. You will see you will see this name annotation underscore this, and this underscore this. So that simply means that we are using this, right? And we are looking for this console. That's handler file created and file size. So if you look at handler file created, yeah, this is it here. The file created is file, which you can see. It looks okay. And the file size also looks okay, but then it's not displayed properly, right? So what we need to do is, so what we did next was just to pass the file here to the upload image, because upload image was taking a type of blob or file, crazy enough. So if we, let me go to the upload image function so you guys understand. So upload image function is an image kit service. So it's taking in a file or a blob, then it's taking in that, then doing a check, a loop, right, for the number of retries, because we have retries and backup also, just to make sure that it doesn't overwhelm and there's a retry mechanism if it fails the first time. So it tries like 3 times, basically. In this case, it tries only 3 times because you specify 3 times to it. So it tries the first time. If it fails, it does that retry again. So, but the idea is that it tries to perform the upload. In this case, using the file name and the option, but it fails at one point because this takes in the file name and it passes it directly as the file to image kit, but it fails when it gets to image kit. And if you check perform upload handler too from the console that I showed you guys, you can see perform upload handler before fetch, perform upload handler file, which is also the same file as what was displayed here. So that means the same file is passed between both of them, but it still failed. And all of these things is me trying to debug how we can get this on, because we need to understand where the error is coming from before we can fix it. So now, in this case, we understand we have the file structure. It doesn't look terrible because it works. It has a very good structure. Then why is it not working? That's the question now. So going back to the image kit documentation, just in case there's something we are missing. So I'm going to go to image kit. I'm going to go to the documentation. Yeah, this. So I'll go to this. Why didn't this guy have dark mode? Jeez. All right, so I'll go to this and go to upload, right? The API, because that's what we are using. We tried using their stuff, it failed because we can't use it directly with the method we are using. We're not using a browser or anything, so we can't use that method directly. The best thing will have been to import it using their image clients for like SDK, which will have worked a whole lot for our use case, but I stop where we are. So file upload APIs. So this is V1, but we're actually using V2. So I'm seriously thinking if I should go back to V1 because this V2 is still in beta. Yeah, I guess I don't know if it's fully, but still looks cool enough too. So there's no much difference here except for the request, the response example, this, and the same thing happens here: request, response, about example, this and this. So V2 API is integrating by verifying the entire payload using JWT. API is in beta, like I said. So on the full plan, the maximum upload size is 25 MB for images, audio, and this. So yeah. So what we can do here is we looking at the request type, right? What does it take? This takes in a file that we can upload, and even if it takes in a URL also that we can upload from. So we are not using that. So we have the request sample here that we are trying to look at. So let's look at the object it takes. It said a file name, which is a string, and is a type of multi-path form data because you are passing a file, obviously. So the file accepts 3 kinds of values. The binary, you can send the content of the file as binary. This is used when the file is being uploaded from the browser. The basis for included content string of the content, which is also acceptable. And then the URL of the file from where to download the content before uploading. I don't know if that makes sense. Now, this would have been the best option if you had the URL, but this is our storage point. So we don't have it externally, and we don't want to like share it to an external source and share it back to ImageKit. So he said note when passing the URL in the file parameter, ensure that servers can access the URL, obviously. So if not, there's no way you can access the file. So what I'm going to try is for URL encoded method, which is what was used for the extension, right? So I'm going to go back to here already. So going back to, oh no, not here. Perform upload works, generate auth works. And let's go to perform upload and check. In this case, we want to pass in just the URL too, because you can take in a file, a blob. Remember we said you can take in a binary base64 also. So we're going to go back to upload image. Upload image also is the one that takes in what we need and uses it. All right, so I'm going to get upload image here. All right, so upload image here gives me, okay, this is not what we want. First one. Okay, this is where the upload takes place, right? And the image kit service that we have. So we're taking the file and the file dot name. So what we can do instead of file, we are going to take in what the base 64 equivalent. The base 64 in this case should be the data URL directly. So passing the data URL directly is supposed to give me an error because it's not type safe, but I don't know if it's exactly the same data type. All right, so yeah, match is being played around me. All right, so this is I passed in the data URL directly, not the blob now, just the data URL directly, not the blob, not the file that was created from the blob, just the data URL. So what we did now is, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to restart the extension. Like I said, I've not tried this, right? So I'm just trying it. I want us to fix it here so we can see the fix. And if everything goes well, we can proceed to creating the other things that are needed. And from there, just work our way from there. So the next thing here is I go to the image kit and not here. I go back to, let me go back here and refresh this page, right? Because that means our extension is now loaded. So I'll refresh this and if possible, in fact, go to our manage extension and refresh from here because yeah, definitely contains some error at this point. So we're going to be watching what is happening here if there's error as well. So we use that to like track. So currently it's giving error on extension context invalidated. Okay, this has nothing to do with this extension. It's the other extension I built that is causing this one. I think I've shared that before. This wallet, this wallet I built is a wallet, so it causes issue most times. I still need to fix it. I need to clean, but this is on Chrome Store too, if you're curious. So this is where I want to make the audacious step to create another one. All right, so yeah, it keeps giving this issue once in a while. So now I'm going to refresh this. Okay, so you can see now this is fine. If I refresh, same thing, it's fine. Um, come on. Okay, so anytime I refresh it, it's telling me that the extension is like the context is invalidated. The context is just what we are working with there as a code. So I'm going to just like capture the Plasma framework here. So I'll screenshot all of this, go to the Plasma framework and oh, not here. Remember, we have all these functionalities, the undo, the redo, but this is what we want to draw here. No, I don't want to redo this. Oh, no, I can't redo it. Okay, error. So now I'm going to save this, right? Saving this should still work for us. I mean, in terms of the annotation or getting the annotation. So if I go to check the annotations now, I should see my annotations, including the latest one we just created, which is like, uh, do I see it? Oh no, it failed. It's not even here. So that means it failed at some point. So let's look at why it failed, right? There should be an error somewhere. Funny enough, there's no error. So why did it fail if there's no error? Or why did it not fail? Well, that means something was not working properly before. I thought it was working fine. All right, let's test again. Rectangle, use the red this time around. Capture the plasma framework entirely. Save. Let's see the error. It's not a typical error, but then the annotation still doesn't work. Oh no, something is wrong. Seriously wrong. This was working before. What caused all of this? And the crazy thing, I can't see the error here. What is it? Why did you feel? I don't get this. Message exceeded maximum allowed size of 64 megabytes. What? Oh, yeah. So we've exceeded the size. Now, this is one of the reasons why we are doing all of this. So, two things I would go do is to like clear the entire DB in terms of the local DB while we are still testing until we are done with this. So, going to the index DB, you can see it's like an actual database. So, I can refresh, I can delete. So, I'm going to delete the entire DB. If you don't need anything, it's going to refresh. There won't be any annotations now. You shouldn't feel. Yeah, so it's fine. So yeah, I just knew it was working. So if I save this one, this new one with the plasma extension only, and I go to the rectangle, I click on this, it creates this for me. I save this, I go back to that means something broke before. You can see this is the data URL, so this should be fine. This is the base 64 URL. So this should be perfectly okay. Maybe I need to like split it. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't checked that. But that should be the case. But this is a base 64 because of the entire thing. So that's fine. I believe that is okay. So you can see the ID here. I wanted to show you guys the ID too. You can see the ID. Dexy storage saying that this saves successfully with ID this and this. So if you go to our image kit, we should have that image. This with this the TJ which I yeah, it's not still not showing. So one thing I can do is delete the entire thing here too. And delete, delete. So it successfully deleted the entire thing from here and from there as well. So, oh yeah. So this was what we saved the other time. You can see it has this red tag and this same one. And you can see the size is 1.6 megabyte. So I'm going to delete this again. Yes, delete it. So it should not be there. So we want to start on a clean slate. We know we have those two. So I'm going to use this first to like do use a different color to mark the plasma framework. So I need just the plasma framework marked like that. I need to adjust the undo functionality to oh no. Should have done this. It won't work again. Okay, fine. I'm going to just save this. Saving this and taking to the annotation library. It's not going to work here. The reason why it's not saving yet is because it wants to upload first. It needs to upload first to the server, right? Or the DB, the cloud DB. You can see now it's there. So if I check here and I inspect the pop-up, this should be the second one. Okay. So if I go here, so I not inspect, manage, not manage. Okay, let me just go back here. So if I do this now, right, we don't get an error. Literally not. Everything is fine. You can see here, there's no error, no red. So what we need to do is debug why, still why, because now we understand that it still creates locally, but if we check, now that we created a new one, let's check the image kit here. So you can see the new one created, so it still breaks, it still doesn't show the right thing. So we can let's use the blob directly, since we know that it takes in image, the file, the blob, or the URL. So this is what the blob does. The blob is just this is an upper function to convert URL to blob. So what it does is it matches the URL type just to be sure that it's a blob. Is a data URL rather. So it picks the MAM type and base 64 string from the matches matched. And the next thing is the code base 64 string, which is using this and this. Then look through the strings and then basically It's not really a different implementation, but data URL to blob works. Now you can use that to try to test or to try the extension that we created just now. So I'm going to change this to cyan, which is a rectangle. Totally forgot to do that there. So this is another thing. So if I save this, we see the cyan color, right? So let's go to the Anno Mark image kit and I refresh this. And you see that we should have two if the second one is successfully uploaded, which I don't think is done yet. Now you can see the second one is uploaded successfully, but the same story, it still doesn't save that guy. An image kit, like takes in the file, the what, the blob. So back to the stuff, it says it's three kind of values: binary, this is for encoded string of the file content. I feel I should just copy this if I can copy this, so I can't. Okay, so let's see. There's nothing different from what we have. We have the file name, the token, which the file name here still looks reasonable. One thing we could have done is if you can get the URL of the one created locally and use that to upload, but that makes no sense. It makes zero sense because we're actually handling the upload to image kit, so it should be the one to like take what we need. So basis for encoded string. Oh, not blob. Oh, that was a big blunder. Basis for encoded string. So what I will say is I'll just ask AI to make some changes for me. So I'm going to ask it to using the knowledge here. So I'll just say this. When I no not using this creates an image to upload to image kit. The issue here, image doesn't get. Now the so we say it takes in a binary, right? No. So these are the fields. The field accept three kinds. I'll just copy it. So base 64 and the URL. Okay, there's no point even adding it to the prompt if you don't need it. So I'm asking it to like help with the implementation. Let me get my charger. Okay, so let's see any progress from the AI. Got my charger, gotten a snack to eat, well furnished. And all right, so let's test it out. Let's see what we get. Yeah. The first thing here is I've identified the root cause of this. After analyzing the file, I see what's happening. You correctly converted the data to a blob and created a file. Then you pass the wrong data to image. That is, I know that was, I know, but I did that because it didn't work. They still giving me the same thing, which is wrong, which is wrong. I'll convert this to a file, back to a file. I know it's. Hmm. So I'm just asking here because I want you to just think of something else. Think outside the box for me because I know it's a simple thing, but I can't really determine what it is right now without debugging through all the functions. And that will take like a lot of time. So you see, that's very interesting. If passing the file didn't work, then the issue may be deeper. Exactly. That's what I want you to do. Let me check the image key documentation to understand what format they expect. Okay. You mentioned that these are say binary yes and this yes. Looking at the current image key, it uses form data and appending the file directly. Yes, but if that's not working, let's try the basic file approach. So one thing I'm actually thinking is that it might be appending and getting it, but not using the right content type, which is true. But that also feels like okay. You know what? Let's check that. Let's check the perform upload. So it's taking this, it's creating a form data here. Form data will do that. But is it passing it as a multi-type? Oh, okay. Let's try it. Content type. I can do that. Yeah, I can pass it in the headers, I'm sure. Because this is upload for V1. Funny enough, we are using V2. Wait, have I been checking the wrong documentation? Oh my god. All right, so I thought I was using the V1. I think it was in the V2. But I think if I'm correct, both still works the same way. The V1 upload directly from both servers and client side. For server side, private key authentication is used, which is like, yeah, same thing here. We're taking three types of value. Multi-part form data is correct. Uh, you can literally switch this, takes in, so this is the fetch implementation that takes in application slash station, but we are not doing that because we are appending a file. When you append the file, you can't use we can't use that. Definitely cannot use that. So if you use the node format, you use the fetch, which is what is being used. It literally makes no sense. This is how it should be, really. If you are using the content type multi-part data, this is how it should be. So I believe that's what is causing it. I just thought of it now that it should be the content type, the typical backend error-ish kind of thing, which we face day by day. So the point is, if you save it as a by 64, it's still might be the best approach because sending as a file might be just horrible at this point. And using something like Axios, we want you to convert it to this kind of data with form data, blah blah blah. You need to like add it to make it work most times, which is really really hellish when you think about it. But the point is that we have to go through this method because we do not want to upload it directly because we can't upload it directly. But operating directly might be the best case here. I'm beginning to think that might be the best approach because it's client side and my API keys will not even be missing or not be because I'm uploading this from okay. So for me to do that, it should get exposed. I think not entirely sure. But I think they're exposed because I'm saving it to the at the point of uploading the extension. So hmm, I need to be sure whatever this is. I just need to be sure. Okay, so let's see. Let me go back to the guides. I'm going to open a new tab for the guides. So I've done all of this. I want to no, not now. So let's see. All right, I'm trying to see if I can get that one to use it. Which let's use a quick guide start. Let me use the normal React because, of course, let's see if we can use this the upload functionality. But I know it's not really going to work with the upload because the upload functionality should not be the solution in this case. But in this case, but we can also get that to work. We can hack it to make it work. What I mean is that if I click on this, for instance, and I click on the process it. I click on the save. The save is a button that exists in a JSX or a TXX file, which is reasonable. So I can link this save to one of the image kit provider, right? And the image is what I like. I don't know how this works here. Let's see. It says if you are building Next.js, use our Next.js SDK, support with client side, server side rendering, and client side rendering, so you can build it to anywhere project. Uh, the Realizing exports images and video component, blah blah blah. So I return. So this returns this for me, which is correct. This is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to upload. Okay, let me go back to the SDK, right? So uh
it's 19 hours.
all right. Thank you, thank you. All right, let's go to uploading files. That's what we want. So it said the REST has a utility function. The upload will enable to upload files to image kit. The upload leverages the upload v1 API, accept the optional object returns a promise, all of these things. But the point is, how do I use it in my okay, this is it. This is using the backend to make this work. Okay, this is generating authentication parameters. I need to upload file. How do I do that with upload? Meet components. I'm not trying to use generation. I'm trying to use the upload transformation. Upload, not the transformation. This is the transformation which I understand. I'm trying to use the upload itself. How do I do that? Okay, you know what? Let me see. This uses this. Did I change this to V2? Okay. So this is V1. Rather than wasting time on this, since you already have that, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to copy the one from which is the content. But remember we said the content type here is something we can pass in and then use. And passing it like this. But we need to also pass in the header first. So the header in this case, like what is passed here as options, also needs this, which 100% cannot be this. I'm going to remove the authentication because yeah. So it's going to be multi-part form data. One thing I'm going to do is I know this might not work fully because it might not just allow it like that. But I'm going to try again. So I'm going to go back to the Plasma that we've been using to implement this. I'm going to refresh the page. I'm going to try annotating the Plasma browser aspect of the code. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go back to the rectangle. If I had the ellipse this time around, use the pink and annotate this. So put it somewhere here. like this and save it. Now saving it, like you understand, supposed to give you a message. Yes, I know that should give you the message that tells you saving, complete, done. All of those things are going to be done, but then we need to get the message. So that can be sent as a message, sent to the actual UI, and the UI will just display that. We can do all of those things. First thing we need to check is check if it is existing here, first of all. And what we can do is refresh to see if that works, or if it doesn't still work. So it fails. That means it's wrong. So it says yet this says send the extract from the data URL, remove this. Oh, that is the problem. I was thinking it, I just didn't do it. Okay, that might not be the problem. I'm just speculating. But I believe that is significantly one of the things you need to consider as first. So going to upload image, we go there, we remove, we use the same data URL again. So that way we don't need, okay, I can still leave that stuff there. Instead of using file like this, we use the data URL in this case, which says pass this, remove this from it, pass the basis for string directly to a modified upload this to this. Uh, all right, let's see. Let me look at how this was done here. Okay, it first matches to see if it's done. So what I need to do is to extract pure basis 4 from the data URL. So let's do this dot remove, replace this with this. Replace with that, and if you replace with that, well, let's test it out again. I know we have the basis 64 somewhere down. Where did it do that just now? Image kit service, which we modified. Oh yeah, so this is this. I'm going to leave this here first. It doesn't really matter if this is all right. So let's go back here and try this. I'm going to context invalidate this. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to ellipse this again. You're going to retain the color we used as before, right? That's smart. So I think all right. So let's just save it and see. Go back to here and refresh this. While that is loading, let me check the code again. Should be 4, not 3. Ah, it fails. Jeez. Alright, this is getting annoying right now. So I can. Ah, and funny enough, there's no error to even tell me what the error is, what the issue is. Everything works fine. Okay, custom metadata, no issues. Custom this, no problem. Why are you failing all of a sudden? Why are you failing at all? Let's inspect the pop-up. The pop-up works before this, after this, sends the data URL. This is what we got, which is correct. This is the base 64. So we successfully removed that string version, so which is correct. This is the size, it is correct. So why did you fail? All right, let me just say, let me remove this first of all. Let me just thinking I've implemented the base 64 approach, which you can check to confirm. I'm thinking to resolve the, we need to add the content type to the upload function. What do you think? So I'm asking you to make the check. It needs to think about if it's going to work or not, and then suggest if that is the correct thing. Now, I might be wrong, but that might not be it, but it's still worth a try. My issue here is the fact that we are uploading a file, and the file, whether spaces the file or not, should be taking a form data type, right? Which uh, exactly. So we need to undo base for properly. Yes. And the file parameter. Yes. Include the MAME. Exactly. Include the type. Yes. We need to go back to the file if it works. Or yes, this is looking reasonable. Yes. Um, really, that's it. Expected something else. I'm so disappointed right now. Like, what's the difference between what you did here? You added file, new file. Like, there's no change. There's no difference. It's just so dumb. How do you make the same mistake multiple times? After researching this, here's what we need to do. Convert base back to blob. The most reliable is convert base back to blob. Asking from data probably handle blobs and pass it to blob and blah blah blah, which I've already done. It shouldn't be telling me to do that again. Convert this back to blob for formal property handling. Blah blah blah. Nonsense, terrible stuff and stuff. Then use this parameter prefix with the 64. Yeah. All right, I'll try the second one because you suggested the first one. I'm disappointed at your reasoning. So annoyed. So the first one is the file. I'm going to suggest this. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. This is the blob value. That's cool. So this is the blob value, and it says the blob value is base 64 like this, which I don't trust is going to work, but I'll just try it anyway because I do not appreciate the fact that it cannot suggest the content type of multi-path data. Just annoying. AI. Nah, terrible. So awful. What if I'm the one shooting myself in the foot? I'm not even checking what is happening here. Come on, leave. I've seen it. Okay, this was the error we got the last time, so it should have been solved by now. So let's use the freehand save. So saving this, still no errors, definitely. And this may not work just by appending that. It might work and it's going to be so annoying. This is the fix. Taking time, it's taking time. Why are you taking time? Why are you taking time? Oh my god, I've not been sharing any of this. Ah, no, 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 no. These guys are enjoying their time. Just making noise here. That's cool. Oh my god, and I'm here battling bugs. The life. Jeez. Alright, so back to the issue here. I'm still trying to resolve this annoying thing that is happening here. Alright, let's see the solution. Still nothing. I'm guessing the last stuff I did didn't work. Let me see the time. No data available. That's even strange. So before you used to add data, right? List we know used to add the embedded metadata. Now it didn't even add anything to it. Just didn't work. Absolutely terrible. Okay, so what we need to do is go back and okay, let's actually use this one so instead to blob. But then I even need to use this blob if this we have something like that that works. We have the data URL to blob, which is this, takes convert the base 64, does that, takes the MIME type, which is the first thing, take the second one, this does the same thing. Literally from here to here is the same thing. And we have that. And we have the same code base, push to this, byte array, time of this, same thing. So there's no point doing that. So what I'm just going to do is change this from data URL this to literally file. File or blob. I think blob is fine too. Blob is fine. This is the binary type, and it wants us to send blob to it. And yeah, send blob to it if it's type of string. Let me just suggest what I want it to do for it. Okay, so I'm just going to pass the file direct since there's no need making any change. The file blob type, so that's fine. So it says That's an excellent thought. I need to clarify something, blah, 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 blah. You should have done that before. Automatically set content type apart from data. When you pass this, the more content, the browser automatically sets this. Without the proper boundary, you don't need to manually set it. We're choosing the content type, so we need to add multiple headers. We already have them. You're putting together this, trace it up, blah, blah, blah. Recommended, paste it to this. I don't want that. Yes, mm-hmm. Let's see if you're correct. If not, you're wrong. Let's test it out. So I need to be sure. I just need to be sure. I need to check it out to be sure, 100% sure if it works or does not work. That needs to be my check. Okay, so hopefully everything should have loaded. Let me go to my extension just to be on the safe side and refresh the extension. All right, let's go to the Plasmo. Where are you? Oh no, whenever I do that, I always. All right, let's do this. Let's capture something. Let's write colorful this and save this. Check our annotations to see if it is there. Open the pop-up, check the annotations. This is the previous one. We are looking for the new one. Yeah, this is the new one, so it's correct. 1.7 megabytes, 719. Let's go check this guy. Please work. Still not working. Ah, I really wanted this to work. The height is there, the width is there. I need to transform it to send it. I'm even confused right now. Everything seems to be valid. All valid. All right, so let's see. What's the next thing I can try out here? I'm really out of options right now. Okay, so let me think of something else. Just to find a way, even if you can use this, you can use the URL as well that was suggested from here because it fails. But if you perform the upload here and the thumbnail was generated from the data.url, but let me console this. So let's use this to check whatever we get. I'm going to take this to this. I'm going to refresh this page. I'm going to go here, click this free and take the right here, scroll right here to then save this. Okay, so let's try this check now. Confirm and conclude. Let me pop here to see the result. So when I check the thumbnail, this not found, expected, which is normal because it fails. And then the same applies to the thumbnail too, not found. So our extension fails. Both of them fails. So we have these that fail, we have these that fail. Which means the response is actually valid. It's not properly constructed. Okay, so terribly tired of this one now. Terribly tired. And then the first thing we have here is okay, so we have this, which is uploading from file system, which I can't use this one. Okay, let me check this. Maybe this might work. So we have this one, and okay, sorry about the noise. So we have this, which is the Node.js implementation from here, uploading from the file system, which is taking this and taking this. So this is the basic file image. This is you creating a stream, not from file system, uploading this encoded file with some tags. Okay, I think this is what I want. And this works. Why didn't we use this? I think I used it and then I changed it back. All right, let me try it again. I don't know if this is going to work, but if it does, fine. Well, I'm good. Oh, this is what I was looking for the next time. Okay. Applying extensions without while uploading. Oh, okay. Uploading file via URL, no? uploading base 64 tags. So this would have worked then. Let me see if I can use this stuff, if I can use the client thing. This is from JavaScript, from Node.js or from JavaScript. Okay, try this. Well, it's kind of hard to try. Just going to try it anyway. I'm going to install the image.kit JavaScript package, which is like a. Okay, let's go back. Just copy it and install it. You know what to do. I don't know if it's going to work because I'm using it from the server. Image.kit Node.js. So let's wait while this one successfully installs. Shouldn't take time. Installation done. If I'm not mistaken. Now we have the node aside from the packaging, which is version 7. Yeah. Dev this and see if it works. If it doesn't complain about the new extension we uploaded, fine. All right, 6.0, that is correct. All right, next thing, go to this, make some changes, install your client kit like this, import it like this, client like this. I've already done the import, never mind. Next thing is to export the class, export all of this, create the config, assign this to it. Where did I use the config then? A public key. Okay, yeah. So perform upload is going to be the one to take that. So I'm going to create a client here. It's going to be config. This dot config dot private key. Nice. Going back here, yeah, same thing. So it's just going to be client.file.await, blah blah blah, console.log result. Let's see if it works. So I'm going to use that without thinking too much about it. So I'll just paste this here. So I know there should be 2 results, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so there's no result. So it's base 64 image. In this case, our base 64 images are blob, which is different because here it contains the I something. So I need to go and change it again. Wow. Okay, I need to go and change it from perform upload to upload image again to use the one I used before, which was data URL dot remove this part that keeps hallucinating and giving wrong answers. Yeah, this is it. I'll just take this and put it back. Perfect. So now that we have this, I'm going to go back to the image.kit service. I'm going to go back to perform upload. I'm going to go back to a result. I'm going to log it in a way that I understand what it is. So perform upload. Yep. And show me using client. So if it doesn't fail, well, thanks. And yeah, let's try it again. Let's go to Plasmo. Let's invalidate this and try this again if it works. I'm going to click this. I'm going to go to the freehand again, change it to blue, mark some files to be so hidden. The Plasmo framework, same thing. If I'm going to change the width, then I'm going to drag this off. I'm going to come back here and drag this, cancel the name, then I'm going to save. And then once I save this, I know I need something else. So still trying to fix the issue now. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to go back to the, let's see here if it works. 923. This is the last. This was the old one. Let's refresh. Let me select all of them. Select everything and delete everything, and then refresh. The new one should be there. Oh no, it doesn't work. All right, that's fine. Even if it doesn't work, this is not the one I'm using. Just test. Let me test the. Let me test this. Test the pop-up to see if I have the result. So it says, where's the result? Okay, it says using client gives me object this. Wow, wow, wow. Let's see if this works. So there's a file name called my file name. Let's go back. I'm not uploading to that place. If I see anyone here, it should work. It works. Yes, finally. It works using the file name. We're not using the Anno whatever stuffs anymore. So I'm going to be changing from using the fetch option to going back to the client option using Node.js. Obviously that works. So that's what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to definitely remove all of this fetch implementation that I do not need and replace it with a client. Wow, that's something. Thank God. Yes, finally. So what I can do is using this, I'll take the client up here. I'll just change it to like a method that can be used, right? A class variable. I'm just going to be this dot client. So I'm going to go back to this dot config up here. I'm going to create private client. It's going to be, I don't know what to call it. It's just going to be something. I don't know. At the constructor, I'm going to set this. I'm going to say this dot client, no need for const again. This dot client equals to this. This is expecting something, I guess. You know what? I don't know. Just suggest something right from, yeah, image. Okay, that's fine. So hopefully it works. So I'm going to use this instead. Where do we have clients being used? So this is going to be, yeah. So dot upload, which is going to be all of this here, and using the folder, there's going to be the transform. I could transform from here. So literally everything is shaping up in the sense we can literally pick what we want here, and then the sync engine should be perfectly almost complete now. So the folder I'm going to use is going to be slash annomark, right? Because that's what we want to use. Now this is supposed to be the name of the user. Once we implement the authentication features, we know that the user already has a name that we can use, and then that can be the name to use. But currently we have this, which is like the annomark, blah blah blah. The tags are not necessary, and the name should be kind of like the file name we used here. So it's going to be like the file name, right? That should be what we get. So we don't need the auth params and all of those things we created anymore. So we've greatly simplified this. Use unique file names. Well, that's fine. Not really bothered about whatever it is that is working currently. So I'm just going to try it now. Go back to Anomark, remove the old thing, especially this one, and delete it. This really cost me a headache for 2 days. Wow, that was awful. So looking at the stuff we created, you can see it's literally the same size, the same design as the markup we just did, marking the blue, and it retains the old property, the tags and everything we have. So that's what we're going to have. So in this case, we don't want the tags also. So I'm going to remove the tags until it's absolutely necessary. What other thing do we use here? The public key, signature, token are not going to be used. The public key, I don't think we need that, but yeah, it's not necessary. So we don't need that. Override file, token, we don't need this. Webbook URL, nah. So none of these are needed except for maybe description, which is not compulsory until we undo all the sign-ins and the date it was created. All of those other custom metadata are fine, but they are not really needed now. We used to have them here, which still does, which is fine. The date created and all. So we have the response field, override field, blah, 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 blah. This. So that's what we use now. And it means I do not need to bother about everything that comes after this. Wow, thank God. I'll just remove all of this. Greatly reduces the code, advantage of using an SDK, done, done, and done. But the point now is I do not need to generate the thumbnail because the thumbnail is also generated by itself, which I can get from, if I'm not mistaken, I should be able to get the thumbnail from somewhere, which I think I did when I checked the pop-up the other time. Oh, it's reloaded, so yeah, I lost that one. Should still be able to get it though. Okay, there's no point. So let's see. I'm going to, I think I'm going to stop here. I won't generate a thumbnail like this. I'll do it in such a way that it's going to be the results. Yep, results. You know what? I'm just going to do this multi-edit results, the file ID. Yeah, so this also should be results.thumbnail URL. Yeah, that's cool. So we're going to generate the thumbnail and mess it up also. So perfect. That should be done. So we can get the size, the thumbnail, the URL, the type, and all of those things and done. So literally use about almost 200 lines of code, almost 100 lines of code, about 90, 87, 92 lines of code. I think it's about 81, 91. Okay, I don't know. But then it was really reduced, and that makes sense. So about 90 lines of code though. So that's fine. We have everything working now. So I'm going to try for the last time, just to be sure. And the next thing I'm going to do is, now that we have this, I can delete this one, which is the optional one. I want everything inside this folder. Like we said, everything can be a folder for every user, but that would be like that. So that should work. It shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to reload the page, and just to be sure everything's working, I'm going to go to another page, which is the sandbox page. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to draw something here, the rectangle, the pop-up here, signifying something important for the user to check out or something. I don't know. And I'm going to create another one with the yellow. I'm going to go down here, okay, to this. I'm going to mark the source as the important part. I'm going to save both of these. I'm going to first of all go to the annotations. If I go to the annotation, I can see the last one. The new one has not been added, which is fine. It will always be added even if I'm offline. So if it tries uploading first, it fails, it still add up here eventually. So if I refresh, I should see it now, right? So if I see it here, it means it has uploaded to our ImageKit server. So which is fine. So what we need to do is go back to our media library, go to the Anno mark, and I should see it here perfectly working. What? Oh no, what just happened? Oh Jesus. Oh my god, what is happening right now? This worked just now. What caused this? Is it the root folder? What exactly is the problem? Am I using the wrong client? Am I using the wrong thing? Am I really? But it just worked now, like okay, I don't know what to say. I'm going to try it again. Could it be the name? Is it because it's a PNG file? If I'm using a PNG file, there's something I need to do for PNG files, I'm guessing so. I really don't know if that's the problem. Because this one that was created is a JPEG file. I name it .jpeg even though it's a PNG file and it works, so it can't be the name. Is it possible it's the name? Let me check what I used again. So we copy the name as this required. That's it. Okay, so let me close this. I'm going to inspect the pop-up here because I don't know what to say. It's just annoying. So the captured completes using client here. That's the one we need. Using client here contains all of this: the file path, the thumbnail URL, the URL itself, the name itself. Okay, maybe I'll just do something here. And can it be the name? Could it be the folder? You know what? I'm just going to call it the same name that was called the other time. I'm going to call it anon.png. And let's see if this works, because that's so confusing right now. So I'm going to go back to the sandbox and repeat the same process. I'm going to refresh this, repeat this, take the freehand text, mark this, mark everywhere here, and save this. So if I save this, I should able to go back to my media library, see the changes, right? So if I go back here, I should go back to this, and I should see two of them, not one. This is just funny. All right, so two things. I'm going to remove the folder, probably the description, keep it the way it was before, see whatever is causing this, and just weird. Why? Oh my god. Okay, let's try it again. The number of times I've tried this is just appalling. So I'll save this. I'm going to go back to, should be here by now. Actually, appending some value at the end of it. So if I refresh, it's still going to take the same name but different values. Oh yeah, I removed the folder name. So let's see if it works. Could it be the folder we are using, right? I just don't even understand what is happening right now. Is it because I'm using the name beyond before the folder, or is it because of the value I'm passing as slash? Or what exactly is the problem? Okay, let's remove custom metadata for it too, because okay, no, let me not go through this process yet. I'm going to call this the file name. I'm going to leave it as Anon here. Use the folder name again. It works if I don't put it in a folder. The moment I move it to a folder, it breaks. And the question is why? Because I'm sure I'm using the right API key for that particular folder. I'm extremely sure. So why? And don't I have access to the folder, or why exactly is it breaking? So annoying. Okay, let's try this again. Let me refresh this. Try this again. Move this here. Try the freehand, the blue, and save this. So saving this should give me. Let me see if it's here. So I'm going to check the Anon mark, the same name, right? So let me refresh this. I should have three of them, not two. Still doesn't work. This is weird. All right, let's see. Let's see. Why is this? Why is this happening? Does it have to do with the configuration from here or something or something? It just feels strange. I'm going to make any change. Show only or read, only mention notifications, fine. Is it the settings? I really don't know. Security, restrict unsigned image URLs. Media library, custom metadata, default upload parameters, override files we upload, save files as private, retransformation, override custom metadata, override description. Trying to look for one way I can upload to a folder because that's the only thing that will be causing all of this. That's just weird. I really don't understand what is happening right now. I'm so shocked. Advanced. Okay, so let me save that. I know that has nothing to do with any, but still, I'm still shocked. Why is not working? I've used stuff like this multiple times inside folders, and it works. It works. All right, that's fine. No folder, and I think it should work now. File name. I'll probably create a new in the folder. I need to know why this is not working. And on Max, use the file name. Go back to Sandbox, refresh the page, go back here, and to this, especially the side here, and save, and go back to the media, refresh the media. Should take time to upload, but it shouldn't be that time consuming though. Then it created the folder. It worked. But if I pass it here, it failed. I think I know why. Probably because the same name I'm using is part of the same name as what is on the. You know what? I'm deleting this. I can't believe this cost me. The folder name cost me 2 days. I was done with this yesterday then. That was annoying. I thought it was not working, but whatever, it does work now. So I'm not even going to put it in a folder, except it's going to be the name of the user. So currently, it's just going to be at the root level. I'm going to mark this and say use the name of the user. So that means every user should have their folder, more like a bucket for them to use when we implement the authentication part of it. So this, like I said, is something that you can upload to the Chrome store and charge for it. But that's going to be a feature we implement going forward. So you can see this works. If you go here, you can see we have a name that was added to this, and then yeah, so that makes sense, right? Annotation this by so date, and then this was added to it. And you can see the stuff that was added by the left hand side. That means this is fine, currently fine. So what's the next thing that we wanted to do that we couldn't complete yesterday? So after implementing all of these features from here, which we wanted to do, now we know that if you go back to our annotations, we should see all of this here. So, but one more thing, you can see all the annotations here. We can manage them from here, and you can also delete them from here. But the problem now is that they are too large. We are getting about 1.4 megabytes, and this is not what we want because we want to store the actual versions on the cloud and store the low versions here, like the compressed files here, so that you can use it. You want to use them and read it, right? But you should always be able to see like the actual ones when you click it, because having this method is just going to make it bulky. It's going to cloud the entire, it's going to make the index be a bit large to manage. You want to store as many simple smaller versions as compressed as possible. So there are two ways we can do that, two different ways. One of the ways we can do that is use the thumbnail that is provided for us by image kit when it is provided, when it is uploaded. And that is always a very, very low end stuff that we can use. It's always very compressed. So we can use that as what we display here. But that will require that we have all our our uploads only when you are connected. If you are not connected, you can't save, which defeats the purpose of what we are trying to do. So that's the problem. The second challenge right now is if we compress this and then let's say you come back online and we retry it, what we are going to save to the cloud is going to be a compressed version, which means you do not get the original image. You don't get it on your device, and you get the compressed version on your other device, which gives you a terrible experience. So how we are going to resolve that right now, I don't know. But we can still find a way to compress these files to a smaller version. It doesn't need to be too compressed, but it should still be compressed. So how do we undo that? We go back to the save annotations after calling the upload image, just like we did here. So that means we can also save the actual file. I don't know. I'm not even going to try that. But I know the actual file should work now because the file says is a string or uploadable. Uploadable in this case is a binary data, a URL, or a string, which we understand. So what I'm going to do is rather than taking this, I'm going to duplicate this and pass in the file just to be sure, right? It's cleaner. You can't really go wrong with that. Let's just try it out. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to do this and we are going to, since that is the name and we get the name here always, so that's fine. So what we're going to do is I'm going to retry another one. I'm going to refresh this. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to the free and use a red color, mark the right side of the page this time around and save this. So I should be able to check this on our cloud storage, right? See if it works inside the same folder. So I'm going to refresh this page. I should see two files there. Come on. Did I remove the folder? Oh yeah, I removed the folder, so it won't be inside the folder. To be at the home page. So it worked too. Using the file worked. So we don't need the data URL, the image URL. Oh jeez. So that was just the problem. The name of the folder was just the problem. I can't believe this. Everything was working since yesterday. It was just messy stuff that wasn't working. All right, so we have that. So next thing to do, like I said, is to not use the ImageKit results now. We can, but remember we also have the ImageKit results also stored here as the thumbnail URL. So we could use that as what we display automatically. So we could do this whenever you do not have data, you store the original stuff, right? Like we said, continue without cloud storage if upload fails. But in that case, we know we won't get our ImageKit URL and thumbnail and all of this, which we can then sync later on. But we've not implemented the sync, but I'm not going to bother about that. So two things. We can do it in such a way that we only display, we do not save the actual data URL and thumbnail to Dixie. We only save once we get the thumbnail to Dixie. If we do not get that, we now save the actual data URL. So let's say what we need to do is something like this. So it's going to be something like it's going to be image kit result slash this URL or data URL, and the same thing applies to the thumbnail URL as well, right? This is what we should actually have, but that doesn't solve our use case as much. It does because now if you install this, it should give us the smaller version. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to go back here, go to the sandbox page again. I'm going to refresh this. I'm going to be using a green color now. I'm going to mark this, use the green color, the light green, mark the down here, freehand with green color, like I said. So I'm going to save this. Now, saving this should display it in the annotations. That's where I'm concerned about now. So I'm going to go to my annotations to check. The last one I should see should be what I just saved, right? Not the one I saved previously. Now, if I do that, you can see the image is of very low quality. You might not see it very well, but let me show you here. You can see the difference. If I scroll this, you can see this is very high quality. I can see it even without clicking it. I can read it. It's extremely clear because I'm saving it as an SVG. So it's extremely clear even if I zoom in or out. It's perfect. But in this case, saving it and you can see the thumbnail, it is very low quality. So if I click this, the size is what 0 bytes, which is fair because it's very small, but it's not actually 0 bytes. It still has like very, very high stuff, but currently going to be very, very small. It's going to look like this. The dimensions is the same, which yes, but what is being displayed here, you can see is actually very clear. It's not, it's very clear. What is being displayed here is clear. And the reason why this is displayed here is because it's displaying the one coming from the cloud. That's what it is displaying. The one coming from the cloud, which is what I've backed up. So what we need to also ensure is if you can do this, I'm sure we can like keep it in check. So how do we do that? It's currently using our 465 megabytes, which I don't believe because it's not up to that yet. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's just basically 1, 2, 3. Then that's less. It's less than 16. It's basically 15. So that shouldn't be. This is very, very wrong. I don't know how it's calculating that, but it's 15 annotations. So what I'm going to do is just delete everything, every single one of it, delete it, delete, 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 delete this, delete this, delete this, delete this, delete this, delete this. So I'm going to delete all of them, right? The size should be greatly reduced. This is showing 411, so that means it's wrong, like I said. All right, so if that is very, very wrong in terms of how it is calculated, then I'm going to try adding a new one, right? So for me to do that, I'm going to go to IndexedDB first of all, just go wipe off the entire thing first. Go to Anomark, delete database, completely delete database now. I don't want you to keep anything for me. Do not keep anything. I don't want it done. I only want the settings kept, nothing else. So I'll do that. This should be 1.2, undefined, blah, 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 whatever it does. So I'm going to create a new one, a new annotation now, using the same free and green color thing. So I'm going to mark here, just make some annotations to this, and then I saved it as well. So once I save this now, it should have like everything perfectly working. If I go to the annotations and I check, I should have this.
20 hours.
You can see that I barely added just 1 MB, which is 1.3. So that means it is significantly lower, but I can always access it if I click here. It's going to load it from the thumbnail. You can see it loaded it. So it's performing some network actions, which, like I said, I believe is loading it from the cloud. So even if you're not online, you can still see it. But the difference now is that if you're not online to download it, how can you still use it? But for the sake of accessibility, because if you want to use it, why not online? You need to understand that you can't store everything locally because of the size, except you want to download it now. So if you download it, it should also work. You should be able to download like you see here, and then you can make use of it, which is what we are trying to do. So that is the preference. So in this case, we successfully created everything to make sense and to work as it is supposed to. So I'm going to leave this implementation. It's not perfect, yes. The best thing to have done was to compress the actual image that is being stored. And what I mean by the actual image stored is you compress whatever it is that it generates for you, not just the smaller version now, like in terms of like size generally, and use that, which is fine. But in this case, this works for us too. We don't really need to bother, but this works for our use case currently. It's fine. What we can now save here is going to be we might save the image kit results dot or I think file ID is not what we want. I think we want the size or something. We've used the URL, thumbnail URL. I think there's one other thing we can get. I'm going to go here to check. What do we return? We return the file size, right? URL, thumbnail, we return the file size. It's going to be file size. So file size should return the value here. If I refresh this, I should get the file size back. All right, let's check. And okay, so I'll just assume it wasn't there when it was saving it, which is fine. So I'm just going to create another one. This is 297. How did you grow to 297 just now? Jeez. Oh my god. All right, so but the idea still remains the same thing, right? And it's significantly lower now that we're not using that actual stuff. So if I keep refreshing, does this keep increasing? It feels very vague. It's not working as I want it to. The size here is terrible. It's not correct. So I'm just going to try this again. Refresh this. Try this again. I think it's faster these days. I'm going to save this white one. I'm going to go back to the Anno Mac. I'm going to refresh this. Show me the white. Show me the white. Okay, it's back. Still showing 0 bytes, yeah, whatever it is. But then still fine. You can see the size. I can remove the 0 bytes. It's not needed. It's part of it's just for aesthetics and UX. It doesn't really matter to the user as much as long as you can see your stuff. So now it's perfectly synced to the cloud. So not synced, it's perfectly uploading to the cloud. I've not checked the sync feature, although I don't think it's implemented, but we have the sync feature here. And the sync feature does something similar. Does something similar to, if I'm not mistaken, where is the sync? No, not this. Okay, sync should be here, not this. Let's see. Oh no. Yeah, this is it. Sync annotation. So sync annotations takes the same thing. Skip if already uploaded. How do we know if it's uploaded? We have a field on all the uploaded files. So the same thing happens. You create a file using the blob stuff. If it is not uploaded, you get the ones that are not. So you skip if it's already uploaded. If it is not uploaded, you do all of this to it. And I don't think it works. It has not been integrated, but it's there. It's there. So which it will be integrated. These are things we integrate as versions when we complete the first iteration. So this is the main thing. Yeah. So this is where I'm going to stop here today because I've successfully gotten everything I want to work. The next step, that means we have completed this as well. We have completed, okay, so we have not completed this, but we've done this sync engine first. What we for the mobile app is quite simple. It's just to, hmm, what we need for the mobile app now is two things. Currently, we already done with the entire app. The reason why we have done is because we have the sync between the local and the cloud implementation, which by cloud here I mean the yeah, it's still the cloud wherever I'm storing because it's stored in the cloud. And so that means we have a sync between the local thumbnail and the cloud. So whenever I click that floating button, it automatically just gets it. I can annotate it straight away and send it, and I have it there. So what I need to do for the mobile is to pick it up once I am signed in and check it there. But currently, remember, the user doesn't have any account to tell it if I'm the owner of the account or not. So all we need to do is just provide from our mobile app a link to that store by creating data, every user's annotation rather, into his own specific folder. So once you log in on your mobile app, I use your same name to find your images from that folder, and that's it. I display to you. It's that simple. It's just a common fetch request, a simple fetch request like we did for our app. We use just very basic stuff. It's something I can do, but I have something planned for 8 p.m. So I can't implement that now. That's why I'm not going to build the mobile app now. But I think I'm going to do that in the morning. So just stay tuned for that. So if you are not subscribed to it, it's just a matter of to this channel, just subscribe and click notifications because I'm going to create that in a few hours time. I want to complete it before the next 24 hours, the entire thing, and then push it to package it for the store, for the Chrome store, and see how long it takes to get accepted. But it shouldn't take long. We don't have any fishy thing going on here. It's just basic stuff that works for users. And then once we upload it and it's on the Chrome store, we'll keep pushing the updates every single day. And then, but before then, we need to implement these other things. Let me show you what we need to implement. We need to implement authentication, right? Like I said. And for authentication, we need to implement this. We need to implement the Chrome extension feature. Let me zoom out so you guys can see it. We need to implement the Chrome extension feature because we need to be able to undo all of these things. And also we need to be able to undo payments. And payments should and can only be done on the mobile. It won't be done from the Chrome extension. Okay, it should be done from the Chrome extension too, but I don't know. I don't know. I know Chrome works, the Clerk works on the extension too. So this is the main thing left. This is the main thing that is left. But we cannot implement the sync engine until we are done with this, because we need you to have an account that we can verify as, oh yeah, this is as an account that we can use to verify that you are the owner of the account and you can see your annotations. Without an account, we determine your annotations, right? That's the only way we can determine your annotations. So it's just a way of making it simple for you. What you need to do, all we need to do is just implement this click stuff here, and that way we automatically can use that the stuff. And you can see that the Plasmo is the option that is provided for us. You can see. So that means we can use the click front end API here, and it works for us too. So this is what we are going to do, and yeah. So like I said, just get subscribed and turn on notifications. I'm going to be creating it a few hours time. The entire thing, I'm going to be setting up the click and then implementing the mobile app as well. And that's it. We are done. So once you can do that successfully, creating the mobile app is as easy as pie at this point, because we just need to have a template that is ready for basic stuffs, and we add our style libraries to it, we configure it, then just fetch it directly from our image URL. Once we have what we need, that's it. Like nothing else is needed. And automatically, once we save an image, it automatically gets synced to your mobile device. Like you don't need to do anything. You just pulls it every single time, fetches it and displays it for you, and then you can do whatever you want. It's that simple, and we are done. That is basically it. So this is what is needed. This way we can have the sign in, sign out view for you to see, blah, 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 show your name if you are signing, create a consistency ID so that you can use it. And that's it. Like it's that simple. Extremely simple, really. So yeah, this is it. And for the last part of this, because I'm thinking I'm going to create the last part. I wanted to finalize it today, but then I'm unable to finalize it now. But this is what's going to happen next. So just stay tuned for the last part, the last final part, which is going to be a few hours time. Thank you so much for watching, and this will be the end of today's video and implementation. Like I said, this is going to the Chrome store. I'm going to share it for you guys to see. Just stay tuned for that. All right. Thank you so much for watching once again. Bye for now.